The Supreme Court told Donald Trump his global tariffs were illegal, so he found a different paragraph in the same 1974 law and imposed them again. That is the story out of Washington this week, and from Berlin it looks less like trade policy and more like a man determined to keep a promise the courts already annulled. Here is what strikes us as outsiders. In February, a clear majority of the highest court in the United States ruled that the president had overstepped his authority by using an emergency law to punish dozens of trading partners. The consequence, the American government now owes billions of dollars in refunds. In most European systems, that would be the end of the matter. In this one, it is merely the prompt to try again under a new legal heading. The old emergency justification was struck down, so the White House has switched to Section 301 and, more creatively, to the language of forced labor. The new tariffs, 10 to 12.5%, take effect overnight and target around 60 trading partners. The official reasoning is that these countries have failed to ban or properly enforce bans on goods made with forced labor. Now, forced labor is a serious matter and nobody in Brussels would defend it. But notice who is on the list. 54 countries in the higher bracket, including China, India, Japan, Switzerland, Norway, the United Kingdom, and Australia. 6 more at 10%, including Canada, Mexico, and the European Union itself. When your list of alleged human rights laggards includes Norway, Japan, and the United Kingdom, one begins to suspect the concern is less about labor conditions and more about the tariff itself. That is the German perspective in one sentence. The moral justification arrives conveniently after the tariff was decided. Section 301 requires the government to gather comments and hold hearings first, and Trump's trade office has been quietly building that paper trail since June. So this was not a spontaneous ethical awakening. It was a legal workaround, prepared in advance, dressed in the vocabulary of human rights. For Europe, there is a small mercy. The so-called Turnberry deal, struck between Ursula von der Leyen and Trump in August, still caps most European exports at 15%. And Brussels says Washington is, for now, mostly honoring it. Around 93% of European goods stay under that ceiling. The exceptions bite, though. European cheese is effectively taxed at nearly 25%, which is a very American way of expressing an opinion about camembert. Brussels was wise enough to build in a safety net. If Washington breaks its promises, the European concessions can be suspended, tariffs raised in return. That clause exists precisely because the man in the White House is, in the polite Brussels phrase, unpredictable. The deeper lesson is this. The Section 122's clause he used in February expires Friday, and it caps duties at 15% for a maximum of 150 days. After that, Congress must approve. With inflation already high, that approval is more than unlikely. So the tariffs keep changing costume, but the goal never moves. That's the view from here. What does it look like where you are? Drop it in the comments and subscribe for the perspective American media won't give you.